agents raided a dairy farm in southeastern New Mexico yesterday. Some video posted on Facebook shows the agents on the scene at the Cheyenne Dairy in Dexter. We're told by those there that 2 people were taken into custody. The Department of Homeland Security confirmed they conducted an enforcement action as part of an ongoing investigation, criminal investigation, but they did not provide any more information.
This past summer, Immigration and Customs Enforcement issued fines to some migrant families living in sanctuary, including to a mother and her son living in a church here in Austin. Those fines ranged from $300,000 to $500,000. A couple of months ago, ICE rescinded those fines. Now, the Austin Sanctuary Network says agents are sending letters to these families threatening a renewal of the civil fines and potential criminal prosecution. Earlier today, Mike Warren spoke with an advocate who has been fighting for this local family living in sanctuary.
Here to talk about the letters from ICE to migrant families is Ann Glenn. She has been helping Hilda Ramirez and her son since the mom asked her church for sanctuary about 4 years ago. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Yes, so Hilda, along with 7 other women who are in sanctuary across the country, received letters from ICE, and Hilda is being asked in the letter to report to the JJ Federal Building here in Austin on Tuesday.
You know, how has Hilda and her son reacted to getting this information and these new letters from Customs and Immigration?
Well, they're devastated, and Hilda is very sad. It's very upsetting. She was excited because she had gotten a letter a few months back saying that that they were taking away the fines, but that has all changed with this letter, and they're threatening to fine her both with civil penalties as well as criminal penalties.
You know, a couple of months ago, her family got some support from Texas Congressman Joaquin Castro. He introduced a private immigration bill to try and help. Do these new letters have any impact on that proposed legislation?
Well, of course, we'll be in touch with Representative Castro's office. Representative Doggett also submitted a private bill on behalf of Hilda and Yvonne, and we'll be working with them and letting them know about this letter that's come to her.
How do you think this is finally going to be resolved, Ann?
Well, we would hope that the private bills would be successful in giving Hilda and Yvonne a pathway to citizenship. We don't know the outcome yet of those bills. We also, are trying to reopen her case in court, so that's another possible way that she could hopefully get citizenship.
You know, they have been in your church for 4 years now. What is their life like?
It's very difficult because Hilda really can't go outside. She's afraid of being picked up by ICE, as well as, ICE has terrorized our community, our immigrant community in general over the past few years. And Hilda is one of the people that is basically in prison at our church. She's not able to leave.
And her son?
And her son, he is able to go to school. There are a couple places that ICE doesn't go into or hasn't yet. We don't know what will happen, but they haven't gone into places of worship or schools or I think health facilities at this point. Yeah.
Well, hopefully a resolution will be soon. Ann Glenn, thank you very much for coming by and talking with us.
Thank you.
And as you heard in those letters, Hilda Ramirez is ordered to report to the J.J. Pickle Federal Building in downtown Austin at 9 o'clock Tuesday morning. There will be a caravan in support of her. That starts at 7:30 a.m. at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church in North Austin. The Austin Sanctuary Network says they are unsure whether Ramirez will leave Sanctuary and appear Tuesday morning.
Trafficking. Johan Humberto Castro Reyes was arrested back in May for hiding anywhere between 25 to 99 migrants. He hid them in his home and threatened them to stay while demanding payments.
Well, this woman will spend the next 30 years in prison for starting a fire that killed 3 firefighters in Wilmington. Beatrice Fana Ruiz pleaded guilty to igniting the fire back in 2016 because she was angry about her living situation. After she serves her sentence, Fana Ruiz will likely be deported back to her home country of the Dominican Republic.
Are covering this story. A woman is behind bars tonight, accused of setting the house fire that killed 2 Wilmington firefighters and injured 4 others. She's facing murder, assault, and arson charges. Eyewitness News reporter Joe Holden has that story from Wilmington.
As the city of Wilmington prepares to lay 2 veteran firefighters to rest, there is a major break in the case. Beatrice Fana Ruiz tonight is being held on $6 million bail, charged with setting the deadly fire at 1927 Lakeview Road, the home owned by her father. In court documents obtained by CBS 3, Fana Ruiz was drunk and on anxiety medication when she went to the basement to get her things. Police say she confessed to lighting the fire in the basement. As Wilmington fire crews arrived Saturday morning, Lieutenant Christopher Leach and senior firefighter Jerry Fix were on the first floor of the home. The floor collapsed into the basement. Both men were trapped and later died. 4 other firefighters were seriously hurt. Beatrice Fana Ruiz is charged with 2 counts of murder in the first degree, assault, and arson.
That same day we was here with her, but she was fine and she was drinking.
Neighbors like Gabby Felix tell us they saw Fana Ruiz drinking before the fire. Gabby has 2 children. They live 2 doors away from where the fire happened. She says Fana Ruiz seemed fine, but admit they are confused about the details. Do you think she's capable of doing this?
I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't think so, because she was like a good mom and all that. She was always talking about her son. Like, to me, I don't think so, but you never know. People, when they drunk, they do different things.
And we checked with court officials a short time ago. Beatrice Fana Ruiz remains behind bars, unable to post that $6 million bail. She'll return to a courtroom to face a judge next week. In Wilmington, Delaware, Joe Holden, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Beatrice Fana Ruiz sobbed in a courtroom filled with nearly 100 family, friends, and comrades of those killed in the blaze, she said. She told the judge she was, quote, humiliated by my actions. She also said she was inebriated that night and cannot recall setting her home on fire. The judge sentenced Fana Ruiz to 30 years in prison. John Downs prosecuted the case.
She intended to set that fire, and it was in an occupied dwelling. And any consequence of that could have been her family, could have been one of the neighbors. In this case, it was the firefighters who paid the cost.
Firefighters Christopher Leach, Ardith Hope, and Jerry Fickus died after a floor collapsed, tumbling them into the basement of the burning home. The city fire chaplain told the judge their deaths hit the force like a Category 5 hurricane. From the Delaware desk, Chris Barish, WHYY News.
Beatrice Fana Ruiz has been sentenced to 30 years in prison, followed by 2.5 years probation after setting fire to her Canby Park home in 2016. The blaze led to the deaths of Wilmington firefighters Christopher Leach, Jerry Ficus, and Ardith Hope. Delaware Department of Justice officials say U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is also seeking to deport Fana Ruiz to her home country of the Dominican Republic when she's released from custody in Delaware. Fana Ruiz pleaded guilty to arson, assault, and second-degree murder this summer and faced between 17 years and life in prison. Prosecutors sought 25 years. According to the state DOJ, she set the fire in her basement as a reaction to her living conditions. The case against Fana Ruiz was not the only one related to the fire. Wilmington firefighters who survived the Canby Park fire, as well as family of those who died, filed a federal lawsuit against city officials last summer, alleging the deadliness of the fire resulted from the long-standing Wilmington Fire Department policy of rolling bypasses. Sophia Schmidt, Delaware Public Media.
A man convicted of rape in Nassau has been arrested by Border Patrol agents in Arizona. This is 42-year-old Juan Olarte Cruz. U.S. Border Patrol agents say he was arrested Tuesday night after he illegally entered the country from Mexico. News 12 Long Island has confirmed that Olarte Cruz was convicted in 2008 of felony rape. His victim was a girl who he knew under the age of 15, and court records show he was sentenced to 1 to 3 years with 3 years of post-release supervision. He was deported in 2010.
Agents assigned to our dirt bike unit encountered footprints of what they believed to be illegal immigrants trekking through the desert. It's a very remote, mountainous, rugged area south of Sells, Arizona. So as these agents followed these footprints, they came upon what was at least a group of 5 people who were actively evading arrest and running away into the mountains.
Olarte Cruz now facing federal charges for immigration violations.
And the House of Representatives passed a bipartisan measure to provide a pathway to citizenship for thousands of undocumented farm workers. The vote was notable because, unlike previous efforts, it garnered Republican support. The bill could potentially bring big changes to an industry that relies on undocumented immigrants. It reforms a temporary agricultural program used by employers and requires companies to verify whether workers are in the U.S. legally through a federal system. Now, the measure moves to the Senate, where its future is uncertain.
A prayer vigil is held to raise awareness for immigrant children. Members of a variety of local Catholic groups in Erie organized tonight's event, raising awareness about the immigration issue. More than 24 people joining together outside the federal courthouse in unity, involving song and prayer.
Because this is an issue that affects all of us. It's not something that we can ignore. It's not something that we can put blinders on. It affects everyone.
To conclude tonight's ceremony, organizers asked those in attendance to make a call to action by either reaching out to Senator Pat Toomey's office or Representative Mike Kelly's office.